council workshop meeting on Monday, March 24th to order, please. Yeah, you go ahead and take a roll, please.
Councilmember White?
Here.
Councilmember Cook?
Here.
Councilmember Fairley? Councilmember Osborne? Here. Councilmember Thomas?
Here. I'll just,
You were thinking of things.
yeah, can we get a motion to excuse Tim?
I make a motion to approve Councilmember Fairley this evening.
I second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion to approve the agenda, it's been seconded. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that passes. Presentations, we have that under discussion items. Been there consulting with Jeanette Jersey.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jeanette Jurgensen. I'm from Been There Consulting, and I work with your staff on the solid waste collection contract. It's an honor to be before you again with another update on the solid waste collection contract. Next slide, please. So the purpose of tonight's presentation is to receive feedback from Council on the mandatory garbage service compliance under the waste management collection contract. So a little bit of background is the city contracts with waste management for collection of garbage, recycling, and yard waste in the city. We have Algona municipal code that requires mandatory garbage service. But one thing is the contract with waste management does not clearly identify roles with mandatory compliance. It just mentions that there is. So that's why we're in front of you today. One of the difficulties in comparing this is the way accounts are viewed. So on the chart, you can see under waste management, they have 899 residential accounts, 4 multifamily, and 32 commercial. However, you'll notice under the city's water and service, there are 989 residential accounts. Nothing under multifamily because each unit is in that residential account, and then we have a higher number of commercial accounts. And the reason that these are different is because of the sharing of garbage service. So the multifamily, we have a dumpster which the 8 units use. So it's not very easy to compare the two of these. And to also add on top of that, not only do we not think everybody's signed up for garbage, but currently we have 6 waste management customers that are 90 days past due on their bill, and 15 that are 120 days past due. So staff have been working with waste management to figure out how to work on this. One of the things waste management is going to perform is a parcel audit. And this basically, they drive around to every property in the city and they note whether or not they can compare that to their records and who has garbage or not. They will provide the list of anyone who's missing. So anyone who has a property and no service to the city. The city will then take that list and look at the current exemptions. So the code allows exemptions for things like sharing trash. If you live in the city and have a business in the city, you don't need accounts for them. So there is exemptions on file. So the city will go against that list. And then we'll be left with a group of people and or businesses that are not in compliance with management code. We're proposing developing a joint letter to send out to all those properties. I also mentioned the bad debt report. So one of the things that the city and waste management are working on is trying to stay on top of this. So waste management, under the amendment, will be providing a list of customers each month who are 30, 60, and 90 days delinquent on their accounts. So it's not that we're just going to have to do these parcel audits every few years. Now we'll be able to see this information. And then the plan is for code enforcement to follow up with these customers to ensure compliance on a regular basis. In looking at exemptions, one thing that's come up is vacation rules. So if customers are on vacation, the city and waste management are proposing updating the contract to allow them to put their service on hold. This would have to be for a minimum of 30 days, so people can just do a week here, a week there. So if somebody who's legitimately on vacation for a long period of time, they can request to have their service put on hold without being charged. They do have to call in to request the service and call in to restart their service. Does anyone have any questions?
I've got one, maybe two. So there, in the contract, there really isn't any incentive for the contractor to, as it's written now, actually go out and audit these. I mean, the only incentive is to make them get on the list to get, service. That's how they get their money.
Absolutely, that is correct.
But they haven't done that.
It is time intensive, as you can imagine, to go around to every property, so they do the best they can. Usually, we have call centers, when somebody wants to cancel their service, then the call center agents will say, by the way, we notice in Algona it is mandatory service. That's generally what call centers do when there's mandatory service. But if somebody moves out, waste management doesn't necessarily follow up and will start service. So we have those gaps that have happened.
Which could be the large separation of the numbers there. Because we don't know how many of these are vacant, as opposed to just not having the service. So. Any other questions?
Yeah, it's not about what you just discussed, but I live on a street pretty narrow, and they have requested that my neighbors across the street bring their cans to my side and then take it back. And I had originally asked Waste Management, was that a fact, and she said, no, that no one's supposed to. My real question is that what's supposed to happen? Does that happens on other streets?
Thank you, Councilor Howard. The contract does not specify that level of detail of collection. It's not supposed to a slightly higher level that all residents will be serviced on public road. Excuse me, on that time period. And I know that the city has brought this up to Waste Management and worked. I understand that they have talked to your neighbor about this. I was not personally involved in this conversation, but I believe Waste Management, the last time we talked, we followed up again and they followed up with your neighbor. Mayor, do you have any updates on that? Do you call me in?
No. I thought the last thing I heard, and I do have an update, now that I think about it, that he agreed that it was okay, he wouldn't mind bringing trash can across the street.
Okay. He had never came back to me or discussed with me.
That was the last conversation that I had with Laura from Waste Management.
I don't mind, I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, but I believe that was the final answer.
I'm sorry?
I said, as long as they don't charge you for an overfilled can.
I mean, if Chris, there is in the new contract an allowance for 6 inches.
I understand that, Mayor. What I'm saying is when you send me a bill that you pick up something off my curb and it sits there for 2 months and you charge me for it, I have to call them and tell them that they didn't pick it up. And then they had to go back and review all the film to see that it was still sitting there every time they came to pick my trash up. That's what I'm saying. You can't trust what they tell you. I don't believe anything the Waste Management says. They charge me $10 and some cents to pick up my empty box with a toilet in it, and then it sat there for 2 months.
Did they credit it back?
After I called them.
Okay.
But that's the problem. It took them almost 2 weeks to get back to me. Oh, we have to review the film. Why don't you just come out and see it sitting in front of my yard, or talk to the driver who marked it, and they can pick my trash up that week? That's what I'm saying. That's the things that I've run into with these people. You know, has there been a rate increase in the last month?
Jennifer Taylor. Answer.
Not January. Yeah, I believe the first part of January there was, yeah.
Every
does-
January there is a
Cause, my bill from January to March was 91.58. I just received the bill now, it's 96.64.
That's probably the rate adjustment.
Okay, well, no notification, they just go ahead and raise the rates?
No, it's a schedule.
And and the thing is it's not the trash that they're raising the yard waste, grass cuttings, clippings. They get away, they get to dump that for free pretty much, because that's more of a mulching for the landfills.
Yes, you.
No, these are great questions. So I'm gonna try to remember in my head to address all
I'll give you all the information you need, like, they pick up my if I have my trash can picked up once a month, which is 35 gallons, it costs you $2 less than what it costs you now. It's $46 for trash. So if they pick up my trash 4 times a month, which is 20-gallon cans, that's 80 gallons. So what the heck are they doing with the other 45 gallons that, you know, they're charging me for what they're hauling away. So if they're hauling less away, why is it $2 less?
Hey, Chris, can we, instead of putting these people on the spot, why don't I bring Lori in, the waste management rep, she doesn't wait, she represents the city.
Well, I know she represents the city, but shouldn't they go to the city and represent, say, hey, this is an issue that we see out there?
Why don't you tell me and I'll get
We
Lori.
have talked about this, numerous meetings. I just figured I'd voice my opinion, because I knew there was somebody gonna be here that's dealing with it
So I can.
on a basis.
Oh,
I'm not mad at you, I'm just fed up with waste management. I really would not see another 2-year contract with them.
I would love to address the first part of your comments if you'd like.
Yeah.
So mandatory by law and also in our contract, waste management sends out a mailing generally in early to mid-November, which has the rates for the following year starting on January 1st. The January 1st rate increase is allowed by the contract, this is part of it. And part of the fee, the service component of the fee is increased by water, sewer, trash, CPI, the percentage increase, and the disposal component is increased by the King County garbage tipping fee. So it's whatever percentage that King County tipping fee went up. So this is established in the contract, and this is also done in contracts all around the area. The yard waste is less than garbage to dispose of, but it is quite expensive still. So if you were to drive a pickup load of yard debris to Cedar Grove, you would probably pay quite a bit for that, much more than you would expect. Pierce County doesn't have a charge for it, but King County, the processors here who take the yard debris and food, there is a cost there, and there is a CPI adjustment for that.
So Cedar Grove is the landfill that King County uses. They're more expensive than Republic has their truck trained out of here.
So, is it okay, or would you like me to, we can step out once we're done, I'm happy to talk to
If you have answers for it,
Oh, yes.
please do.
So, all the garbage in King County under the agreement go to King County transfer stations, which are then taken to the Cedar Hills landfill. Cedar Grove is right next door. I know, Cedar Grove, Cedar Hills. Cedar Grove is a private composting company. They're the one that takes most of the yard debris from King County. There are some other smaller composters a little further away. And I'm so sorry, I should have written all your questions down.
That's okay.
So, what did I miss? What have I missed?
No, I'm just saying they're charging more to haul it to Cedar Grove.
For the yard debris,
Yard
so
debris,
it's
but
composting.
basically they're dumping that for free. They're not just being charged for a big dump, because without that yard waste, Cedar Grove would not exist.
Cedar Grove has an amazing business model where they charge to get material coming in and they charge it out the back door. They do a lot of processing to it in the middle, but it is, I haven't seen the exact numbers, but it's generally about a half to a third of the cost to dispose of compost as it is garbage.
Right.
So there is a cost there. And when you add up all the customers, it becomes very expensive. You had mentioned Republic. So the Republic cities, their compost is all hauled to Cedar Grove inside of King County. There is some little things about Seattle garbage being railed down, but the compost, the organics that are picked up all in King County, pretty much everything goes to Cedar Grove from all the homeowners in the area.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Because I really like garbage, I can stay all night and talk about it.
We're probably get more information about that or about garbage than we are.
The last thing, if I may, I wanted to mention that the amendment that is in the council packet is still being reviewed by legal. It's a pretty simple one, so I don't anticipate any major changes to it, but I do want to clarify in the packet that's out there, that has not been approved by legal yet.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Audience participation. The city council encourages public participation during meetings of the city council and welcomes your comments. This time is set aside for you to speak to the city council on any issues. You are also invited to comment on action items as they are considered during the meeting. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each in addressing the city council. When addressing the council, please speak clearly and audibly and state your name and address for the record. Have you said all you want to say?
I said all I can say.
All right. Okay, well, no further participation.